Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating case study, one that doubles as an essential executive brief on emotional intelligence, ethical leadership, and foundational employee values. We're looking at the story of John. Now, on the surface, this might just seem like a simple, heartwarming narrative about a guy and his mom, but actually, it's a profound masterclass. It shows us exactly how personal integrity and empathy build the ultimate foundation for long-term business success. So think of this explainer as your personal mentorship guide, a way to really align your career ambitions with your core human values. Let's get started. I want to kick things off by asking you a question. It's one that every single leader, manager, or early career professional eventually has to wrestle with. What is the real secret of true professional success? I mean, is it just hitting the highest profit margins? Is it rapid corporate expansion? Or is it something deeper? Today, we're going to challenge those traditional profit-driven metrics. We're framing our narrative around empathy, personal integrity, and emotional intelligence. We'll explore how an ancient concept like filial piety, that deep devotion and respect for your parents, might literally be the most surprising and effective career strategy out there. Okay, Section 1, Redefining True Professional Success. Let's trace John's journey for a second. We see this really clear progression. He starts as a poor village boy, raised by a hardworking but very sick mother after his father passed away. Fast forward, and he becomes a highly successful corporate leader. But here's the thing. His professional ethics, they were completely forged in that humble childhood. His drive to build a business didn't come from some textbook desire for corporate dominance. No, it came from an urgent, deeply personal necessity to care for his mom. And this teaches us something absolutely crucial. Our humble beginnings, and often our most challenging personal circumstances, well, they actually form the strongest bedrock for our professional resilience. Moving on to Section 2, the power of a promise. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer selflessness of his mother's words. Her health was failing, right? They had absolutely no money for treatment. Yet her main directive to him was entirely focused on his long-term growth. She told him, "Never stop studying because of me." This is literally the ultimate example of a supportive mentor, or in this case, a family member, making a huge sacrifice for someone else's potential. As leaders, we have to recognize the immense power of this kind of unwavering support. It plants a seed of deep, long-term professional drive that honestly far outlasts any financial bonus you could ever offer. And listen to John's response as a young boy holding his mother's hand. He says, "Mom, I promise, one day I will change our life." This vow is pretty much a perfect model for establishing core values. You see, emotional intelligence and professional loyalty, they don't just magically appear out of thin air. They usually begin with a single, unwavering promise. For John, this promise totally dictated his work ethic. He studied with all his heart, he never forgot his dream, and he cared for his mother daily. So if you have a reflection worksheet in front of you right now, or even if you're just jotting down notes, write down the foundational promise driving your work. Because that deep why is exactly what's going to get you through the toughest corporate challenges. All right, Section 3, Loyalty above financial wealth. It is so easy to fall into standard corporate motives once you finally reach the top. You start thinking about buying luxury cars, massive houses, the typical milestones of showcasing wealth. But John's immediate priority, it was completely different. He wanted to take his mother to one of the biggest hospitals to get her the absolute best treatment. He honored his promise. This is such a stark contrast between standard profit-driven motives and genuine personal loyalty. It shows us that true ethical leadership means using your success to protect and elevate the people who supported you, rather than just cashing in on superficial rewards. After months of treatment, the doctor finally delivered the good news that his mother was recovering. And she told him this: "You became successful, but your biggest success is your heart." I really want you to absorb that for a second. This is a powerful, totally paradigm-shifting definition of success. In modern management, it is just so incredibly easy to define our crowning achievements by quarterly earnings, right, or market share. But this case study makes a strong argument that a leader's character, their compassion, and their emotional intelligence are their true crowning achievements. Your business metrics, they're going to fluctuate, but the integrity of your heart, that is permanent. Which brings us to Section 4, Building a Legacy of Care. The thing about personal empathy is that it doesn't stay confined to the home. It naturally translates into broader, impactful community service. As John became wealthier, he definitely didn't forget his past. He scaled his compassion. He started helping poor families in the community, supporting children's education initiatives, and even paying for medical treatments for folks who simply couldn't afford it. Notice how these actions directly mirror his own childhood struggles? It's like a brilliant blueprint for modern corporate social responsibility, or CSR. And it begs a quick rhetorical question for all the managers listening in today. How often do our CSR programs reflect the actual lived experiences of our leadership? Because the most effective corporate philanthropy is authentic. It's driven by leaders who have a genuine, personal connection to the vulnerabilities they're trying to address. And this brilliantly illustrates how ethical leaders build supportive teams, and families for that matter, through crystal clear communication. Before he got married, John gently but very clearly communicated his core values to his future wife regarding his mother. He told her, "My mother gave me everything. Please always treat her with love and respect." Her response? "She is my mother too." I mean, wow. That shows the immense power of shared values. When a leader clearly communicates what they stand for, it naturally fosters an inclusive, incredibly supportive environment. Whether it's integrating your family into your new life with grace or building a workplace culture of mutual respect, clarity of values is the glue that unites people. Maintaining core personal values. When John was actually asked for the real secret to his success, this was his answer. "I didn't run after money. I protected the person who never stopped believing in me." In today's world, you might expect the secret to his success to be some killer morning routine, right? Waking up at 4 a.m., taking ice baths, or maybe some ruthless corporate acquisition strategy. But instead, it was simply this: profound gratitude. The desire to protect vulnerable supporters built a lasting legacy that money alone literally never could. If you want deep, unshakable loyalty within a company workforce, you absolutely have to operate from a place of gratitude. People are going to follow a leader motivated by protecting others way, way longer than they'll ever follow someone motivated solely by profit. So the crucial point is this recurring habit. Every single evening, no matter how incredibly busy he was as a successful businessman, John still sat at his mother's bedside. Just think about that contrast for a second. High-level, stressful corporate meetings by day, and then the quiet humility of holding his mother's hand at night. It proves that true leaders never outgrow their humble duties. They never become too busy for the people who grounded them in the first place. Actually, scratch that. It's not just about not being too busy. It's that this kind of consistent, patient dedication is exactly what effective long-term corporate management actually requires. Because real success is remembering who stood beside you when you had nothing. So I want to leave you with a challenge. Reflect on this. Maybe in your next team breakout session, your regular mentorship check-in, or even just in your own journaling tonight. As you build your career, who are you protecting? What are the core promises driving your work ethic? Let John's story be the standard you use to measure not just your professional wealth, but your personal integrity. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.